How's it going, Martians? Jade back with another Martian report. And in today's Martian report, we're going to talk about the New World Order, I guess is what the title is, right? So let's talk about that. Now, before I get into this, I'm not talking about the shadowy elite, the Illuminati, or whatever you want to call them, the ruling class. When I'm talking about the New World Order in this, I'm actually referring to the new order of things, that the new order of society that I believe we're in the middle of a transition period into. And that transition period, I would say, is what is often referred to as the fourth industrial revolution. And depending on what your background is, a lot of you out there have probably heard of the fourth industrial revolution, but if not, the fourth industrial revolution is essentially the emergence of many technologies such as robotics, artificial intelligence, blockchain, um, CRISPR Cas9 genetic modifying technologies, which is genetic modifying technology rather, um, and just other really kind of mind-bogglingly advanced systems that we have begun to learn how to capitalize on. So now that we've learned how to capitalize on these new systems, well, we being the economy, the global economy. Now that we have figured out how to monopolize upon these, the rate of change is now accelerating, not only because of how powerful these technologies are and how they're radically just revamping how each of the sectors which they are impacting, just how rapidly they're impacting those areas, but also how profound the benefit is to those who are adopting those early. Just consider us as investors in blockchain technology. We're early to the game, so we expect that we're going to be able to make pretty substantial gains off of our investments into this nascent ecosystem, right? Well, the idea is that these other areas, such as AI and robotics, are advancing at nearly, if not the same rate. And we're going to very soon witness them have a very serious impact on the global economy, in much in the same way we expect blockchain is going to affect the economy and cause a transformation, right? Where most of us believe that blockchain, even with XRP, that blockchain is going to have a detrimental impact on the valuation of fiat currencies around the world, simply because of the fact that the fiat system is reaching the end of its cycle, and so there's all kinds of convergent forces that would indicate this outcome with what we're investing in blockchain. But when you look at AI, you can see that it's impacting the economy in a different way. Take Tesla's self-driving vehicles, or any company's self-driving vehicles now, and you see this pattern where suddenly there's no longer going to be a need for a taxi driver. There's not going to be a need for a Grubhub delivery driver, which is what I was doing before I started on YouTube. There's not going to be any jobs for semi drivers because Tesla's already building their own semis that have the same autonomous driving capability. And that's something else I've done in life, is driving trucks. And I can assure you that if we do not take care of our truckers when this transition occurs, there's gonna be a lot of angry truckers stopping on highways and roadblocking them and literally crashing the economy just because they're not being taken care of and they're being pushed out by robots, right? Like, this is a very testing time for our species in the way that these new technologies are emerging, and they're all going to continue to compound. The impacts of these are just going to compound more and more each year. for example, with the AI, it's not going to be every truck driver is like go day one. It's going to be a slow process where at the start they're just going to replace the truckers who are leaving, and instead of hiring new truckers in, so they're just going to replace them with autonomous vehicles. And eventually, once they get to a tipping point where they no longer need the trucker to, that if they lose their truckers, they're not going to have a negative impact. That's when they flip the switch and they just go full autonomous. And that can happen a lot quicker than I think most people are comfortable admitting. It could take it could take 100 years for the transition to occur, or it could literally happen within 2 years, because there's actually pretty high turnover rate with truck drivers out there. So just depends on how long it takes for them to cycle in the new autonomous trucks and then and then eventually just push out their veteran drivers. And that could happen in 4 years, 8 years, could happen in 100 years, because there's some pessimists out there that thinks that these things can never happen, right? But we all know they're coming. We all know that these are occurring, and that technology is on an exponentially increasing trend to the more advanced side, as opposed to just, we haven't hit the S curve yet. We haven't started to flatline yet as far as the exponential growth within our technological advancement, rate of technological advancement. There is admittedly a slowdown in the advancement of silicon-based transistors, but that is not impeding the advancement of these systems, and it is highly likely before that decline in silicon-based transistor, binary technologies becomes detrimental to our rate of advancement, that quantum chips will be brought into circulation. I believe that we're already up to 16 qubits as far as what we're capable of, what IBM's produced. That's the last I'm aware of. We might be above that now. But even at 16 qubits, that's only, I think, maybe four machine generations of advancement before those systems, because they're quantum bits, not a single on-off binary switch, before they'd actually be one of those chips would be capable of outperforming any silicon-based chip we have today. And that's when a whole new series of exponential growth will begin to unfold before us, right? So the point that I'm really trying to build up to with this is that this new world order is going to be a lifestyle in which most of us do not have the need for employment, because there's not going to be enough jobs to go around, but there's going to be plenty of stuff for people to consume, because AI robots are going to do almost all the work and going to do most of the production for us. So the only thing left for humans to do is engage with one another, engage with the AI, and consume whatever the AI produces, whatever it is we need. And this is going to likely have a very profound impact on how we view ourselves, how we as individuals view others, engage with others, engage with our local town, or the people that, people around us, everybody. People online on the other side of the world, how we engage with everybody is going to change due to this transition that we're witnessing the global economy go through. So, fascinating times ahead, no doubt. I'm beyond fascinated to see where things actually unfold on the tech side. I know that there's a lot of people out there who are terrified of the idea of AI and robots, Skynet kind of things. I did a video on the channel a while back where I talked about some of the downsides to AI and such, but the biggest downside I see coming with this revolution, coming with this new world order that is being introduced through the fourth industrial revolution to us is really how we as individuals, as humans, respond to the fact that we have to change. We as a global society need to change away from work-based mentality towards socially based mentalities, which is weird that that's even something that people have to consider moving towards, because we're such a social species to begin with. But hey, you know, social media, as ironic as it is, social media seems to have made the human species far more introverted by and large. You know, maybe that's just a personal perception of what's going on, but I feel like it has made me more introverted in many regards. But and I feel that especially with how cell phones have taken over everybody's lives, they've sort of molded a lot of people that I knew to be very extroverted into more introverted people, because now they're just focused on their phone all day, right? So interesting trends to keep in mind, if nothing else. Kind of rambling now, so wrap this up here. I appreciate you all for tuning into the Martian Report today. Again, this is just, these price numbered videos. These are really just some tangents with Jade, where I just share my views for the day. I haven't found anything really worth covering in XRP news. We had a little Twitter storm by Brad last night. Plenty of people have already covered it. I don't really want to cover, just the same old thing on the channel. I'd rather keep the content fresh, new, talking about other things, getting everybody, thinking about things, even outside of blockchain, because that's mostly what all this video was, just talking about trends going on outside of, just our little neck of the woods here in the XRP community. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I'm really trying to determine how I'm going to go about introducing you to the technologies within the fourth industrial revolution, the companies that I'm watching, because I want to ensure that whatever companies that I'm promoting on my channel are legitimate, and some of them are just so downright terrifying how advanced they are now that it's hard to know that they're legitimate. So I'm just doing my due diligence before I create content on that. I know some of you have been wondering maybe when I'm going to be putting out the content on the fourth industrial revolution, so, and all the stuff that I talked about in a few videos back. So yeah, that's basically the current state of affairs as far as why I haven't done anything yet. But expect something soon. Expect something more than me just like talking generalities about what's to come here in the next decade. And again, who knows? Maybe most of the stuff that I said, maybe all these technologists, they're optimists. It's not 10 years away. It's 100 years or 50 years or whatever. But I definitely feel that society is on an exponential trend as far as how rapidly new technologies seem to be coming into the forefront of our, perception as people, right? So tell me how you feel in the comments section below. Let me know if you agree, if you think that things are moving quicker, if you think they're slowing down. I don't know. News seems to be slow in the XRP community the last few weeks, but hey, the calm before the storm maybe, right? With that said, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe and ring that bell so you can stay up to date for all my newest content. And if you're old, if you're new, whichever, you made it this far in my video, leave me that like. It helps the YouTube algorithms. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see all of you in my next video on Mars.